How about a new wrinkle to keep it open or close it out to the wall? Asking, do we keep Marvin Harrison Jr. up or do we take him down?
Yeah, so there you go. We obviously have a bunch of fantasy superstars on the wall. There's Marvin Harrison Jr., his number 18. We appreciate that. By the way, this is all thanks to our friends at Fanatics. They provide us with all these jerseys, so thank you so much. That's a pretty good row. You see Josh Allen, my guy 8, CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, been up and down for him. Harrison, Ladd McConkey, slow start. McCaffrey, it's been tough with Brock Bowers there. There's a couple other questionable ones there as you keep going down, but Cam Ward. Travis Hunter, Mark Andrews. It's been a tough. So not everyone is wall worthy. So we should talk about whether or not all these guys should in fact stay on the wall. But let's talk here about Marvin Harrison Jr. Guys real quickly. And what I'll say is that I say he does stay on the wall. I'm keeping it open this week. Wide receiver 24 for me. Look, it's the matchup against the Cowboys, right? 17 fantasy points to a wide receiver. That's what the Cowboys have allowed in 6 of their past 7 games. So if you're telling me an Arizona wide receiver is scoring 17 fantasy points in this game, I think it's a pretty good chance it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. No team in the NFL has allowed more touchdowns on deep passes than the Dallas Cowboys. And so Harrison, who over 40% of his targets this year have come on deep passes, so whether it's Jacoby Brissett or Kyler Murray, actually I think I might be kind of rooting for Jacoby Brissett, but either way, I think Marvin Harrison, given the matchup and the volume and hopefully off the bye, they figured a few things out here. MHA is just too talented, Connor, for me to close that out. I think he's a high-end wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2 this week.
And I think he's looked better this year just by the eye test. Obviously, the concussion, and he had some early drops out of the gate this season. But since turning it around early in the season, he just looks physically better. And it's just about opportunity in terms of if Kyler Murray plays, are they ever in rhythm? So, this matchup, how could you sit a number 1 wide receiver against the Dallas defense? You can't.
No, they just made Bo Nix look like Tom Brady.
Troy Franklin
lining him up. The defense just doesn't have any ceiling, any upside in Dallas, and there's no reason to think that Arizona won't put up points in that game.
All right, our next one, Quentin Johnston, guys. You started Quentin Johnston last week. Yep. You got a goose egg, 30 total receiving yards in 2 games since returning. He's got the Titans, if we're looking for some consolation here, Jay. The problem is the Chargers just have so many options, especially with Oronde Gadsden getting targets now.
Yeah, QJ's got an Oronde Gadsden problem. He's got a Ladd McConkey problem, who's really turned the corner the past month. He's also got a Tennessee Titans problem, where the Titans aren't particularly good. The Colts didn't have to throw the ball basically at all in the second half. The Chargers on the road are around double-digit favorites. The line's been bouncing around 9.5 to 10, so probably not going to throw that much. If they do throw it, it's probably going to be to other people. So Quentin Johnston, I think the injury must be a real thing that's slowed him down, or at least took him out of his rhythm, and he's trying to get back to it. So for now, I don't think you can start Quentin Johnston.
I agree with you. I'm closing it out. He's my wide receiver 34 on the week as we sit here on Wednesday. To your point about not throwing to him, he's got a 9% target share over the last 3 games. 9%. Compared with, you think of the first 4 games of the season, he had a 25% target share. So they're just not looking for him. And most importantly, they're not looking for him when they get in close. In 3 of the past 4 games, he hasn't even seen a red zone target or an end zone target, let alone catching a touchdown. And so to your point, Chargers heavy favorites here. Gadsden, McConkey coming on. Keenan Allen always has his role. Probably it's a big Kamani Vidal game as well. Cam Ward hasn't looked good. You can see the defense getting a cheap score potentially here. So I just don't imagine how, especially after last week, how you could start QJ until you see some production on the field.
Yep.
Our next wide receiver guy is Stefon Diggs against the tough Falcons passing defense. Of course, with Diggs, he's made the most of his opportunities, Matthew, but only 5 or fewer targets in 2 of his past 3 games. We've seen more Kayshon Boutte for Drake May and some other guys stepping up.
Yeah, he has. You've seen some of those other guys there, but there's still been some of it. If you look at over the last 5 games, he's basically almost got a 30% target share. He's had at least a 22% target share in every game but 1 over that span. So even though Boutte may make the kind of the highlight plays, we've seen Pop Douglas actually make a couple of interesting plays over the past couple of weeks, Diggs is still involved. And so I'm just sort of a believer in the talent. I'm a believer in Drake May. I don't hate the matchup. Falcons have a pretty good secondary, but feels like they got a little bit exposed last week. Diggs is a pro as well. And so I'm at wide receiver 26. So I'm as a mid-tier wide receiver 3. So I get the concerns that Connor brings up about some of the other pass catchers there in New England. But I'm keeping it open. I'm keeping it up with Diggsy.
And I think with the bye weeks, Jay, it's hard to imagine someone being able to bench Stefon Diggs this week.
Exactly. The irony is, for a team that won 4 games last year, Diggs' problem is the Patriots are too good. Like, they keep blowing teams out, and they're not having to throw. In the game where they really did need to throw against the Bills, Diggs was incredible and had almost 150 receiving yards. I still think that the talent is there. He had that pass called back against the Saints a couple of weeks ago. His game log looks a lot better if he gets that one. And the 7-69 against the Titans shows that he's not trending too badly in the wrong direction. Gets in the end zone against the Browns for his first touchdown. But no, I'm keeping it open on Stefon Diggs against an Atlanta defense that looks a lot less intimidating than it did a couple of years ago. But I mean, the fact that the Patriots are now inching towards 6.5-point favorites over the Falcons, I don't think people have maybe fully grasped like the Patriots. The two teams, I think, now, no one can join me on the Colts. It's too late there because I was on the bandwagon earlier. So you can't join me on the Colts.
You've closed down the bandwagon.
Yeah, I've closed down the bandwagon.
That's fair.
We're taking
that is very fair.
No more passengers. I am the Colts man. No one else can be the Colts man. If you wanted to get another team, though, that could be the next Colts, your two candidates, Patriots and Seahawks, who I think are both they're both in like the 30-1 range to win the Super Bowl, which again, 3 times longer than the Colts price now at this point. But I think those two teams, I would not be shocked if either of those teams made the Super Bowl, which is pretty stunning from where we were at the start of the season.
Yeah, I totally buy that. I mean, I will say, it's a little rich for you, who jumps from team to team to team.
Shut down a bandwagon?
To shut down other bandwagon jumpers. Like saying, I'm the only one that can do it.
I am. The Colts are mine.
Yeah.
They've been spoken for.
You were early-ish on the Colts bandwagon.
Absolutely.
So,
that is your Mona Lisa, I would say.
1,000%.
Yes.
I mean, like
amongst the Saints, Giants.
I was just gonna say, like, it's your third bandwagon this year.
Yeah, the Giants were kind of thrust upon me. I don't subscribe to that nonsense. The Saints and Bengals, I'll agree, were bad calls. But let me tell you, the Bengals, they were so close to winning the AFC. If we'd just beaten the Jets last week, we'd be
winless Jets.
We'd be right on the path. But alas, merely a Colts man with some side flings with the Patriots and the Seahawks.
All right. Fair enough.
Fair enough, Jay.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.